Why is there CrossFit football? CrossFit football is a great training method, and we realized that you could take the parameters and the time domains and you could actually make CrossFit very sport specific and be a very useful tool. Coach Glassman said it, and it's pretty known. I mean, to go play pro football, you have to be very, very specified and very specific about what you do and your talents and your movements and everything. And you can actually pare CrossFit down and make it sport specific. So why not? If it's a great training method, I mean, we're not trying to be incredible CrossFitters. I mean, my goal for these people that are doing CrossFit football isn't to be better at CrossFit football. My goal is to use CrossFit as a tool to make them really great football players.
CrossFit and CrossFit football are definitely one of the same. We are the baby of CrossFit, and I think the reason why we exist is because Coach Glassman said it best. Is we have on one side we have Brian McKenzie, this endurance specialist, and then we have on the other side we have these Olympic lifters, Coach Bergner, and then you have Mark Ripto, these power lifters. But where's the middle ground, when we start talking about this stuff, and where is this real output and somewhat conditioned? And we started realizing that's inside of athletes. And what athlete does that really show up in? And we found that in football, at least we did. And Coach Glassman asked us, what are you guys doing? How are you guys training John? And it was me, Brian, and John were putting stuff together. And we put together this fabulous program of the energy systems, and we realized that we needed the power first, we needed strength second, and then we needed Metcon. So we needed specifically towards what we were trying to do on the football field.
I mean, let's use the tools and this excellent training style and this great methodology. Let's pare it down, let's make it specific, and let's use all these things that we've found in CrossFit to actually translate to football and make it really good. So it's just more of an ideal. I mean, when I looked at this thing, I thought, man, this is an incredible style of training. If I changed it around and I added a strength component and I added a kind of shorter, heavier Metcons, I could really do some great stuff for football.
The thing about football is you need that high strength component. And I think what differentiates CrossFit football, the only thing that differentiates is the fact that our main focus is to build bigger and stronger as opposed to just better. And I believe that both of them, their main point and the main heart and soul of CrossFit and CrossFit football is to develop better functioning athletes. But the bottom line is the requirement for football does demand that they are bigger and that they are stronger. And that's the only difference that CrossFit football has evolved into.
When Coach Glassman was training BJ Penn and those fighters, I mean, he definitely trained them in a sport-specific way. And when Coach G and I were sitting there talking, I asked him, I said, hey, if you were training football players, how would it look like? He said, it'd probably look a lot like your program.
Very good. I'll get those elbows quicker. Come on. Get back on that bar. Let's go. Lift elbows. Yeah. I'll get those elbows up. Switch. Back pedal. Good. This is a 60. Back pedal. Back pedal. Back pedal. Come back. Start with me. Next groove. Nope. Wide base. Athletic shuffle. We gear towards much shorter Metcons, more towards like kind of ours is 369. A lot of people look at this 369, and we might do actually 963 in reverse, so like a Fran, but a heavy Fran with weighted pull-ups, and we'll do 9-9-6-6-3-3, or we might do like a Cindy where it's 5-10-15, but we're doing 3-6-9 of bench press, heavy back squat, and maybe bent over row, which not necessarily would be a functional exercise for a CrossFitter, but would be very functional for a football player. So, and again, we're going to gear it towards much heavier, not necessarily bigger guys, but just heavier movement. But that's what we're gearing at. We want to work at these higher weight loads and shorter volumes so they can recover and handle it a little bit easier. And I think that's where we differ a lot too, is the volume's a lot less. But the intensity of 1 rep maxes or 5 rep maxes are much higher.
Coach Glassman was kind of the one that kind of gave me the idea for it. When I first met him, we came up with that quarter gone bad workout, which was 15 seconds on, 45 seconds off, and it was a 15-minute time domain, and it fit perfectly within football. And what we did is I started designing between Max and Brian McKenzie, Kelly Starrett, and the coaches that I was working with started designing these workouts that were specific towards my game. And we just found some really great stuff with it and decided, like, hey man, we should do this. And then when CrossFit approached me about creating a website and putting the workouts up, I said, sure, other people can benefit from what I've learned.